Hey y'all, I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel, I talk about issues and topics that just make me go, So let's get into it. The image of the black man has gone from this to now this. And this new image of black men is what society, feminism, black feminists are really trying to push down the throats of black people in the black community. It's really angering to me. It's disappointing to me. And what's even more disappointing is how there is so many people within the black community and in society who is trying to gaslight black people to think that this is okay. When I first came to mind, as far as how was I looking at this, the things that was coming through my mind, I actually thought, you know what, maybe it's just me. Until you get on social media, you see the comments, you see the commentary, you see the YouTube videos, you see the Twitter, you see all this, these other black people who are also sharing their discontent with what's going on. And so you say to yourself, okay, it ain't just me. I am not the only black person who is clearly seeing the emasculation of black men going on here. Like, there's other black people seeing the exact same thing I'm seeing. And so that's good to know. That's good to know that I'm not the only person seeing that. What's really disheartening about it though is that when you have a group of black people in the black community that is sharing their disdain and dislike and their anger, their disappointment, all of these types of emotions concerning these photos, and you don't have people validating those people in the black community. But instead of it being validated, it is replaced with gaslighting. It's replaced with trying to have us look inside of ourselves. We got to look inside of ourselves. We got to change our perceptions of how black men are supposed to look. How the black man image that we've grown to see is wrong. Now, it's funny when any other community expresses their dislike about how they're being represented. People listen. They change it. They make sure it don't happen again. It's only in the black community that people ignore our complaints. Of course, we all know where it stems from. They ignore our complaints. They ignore the things that we're passionate about. They ignore the things that we see that's something that's wrong. If it doesn't fit in with their agenda, they will ignore it. Now, it's no secret that for a very long time, there has been an erasing of strong, masculine black men. Like, there's no secret that that's been happening. It's been happening for a very long time. The emasculating of black men has been happening for a very long time. It can be stemmed back to slavery. In order for the slave masters to control the families, in order for them to control the circumstances, and in order for them to control the black man, they had to tear him down spiritually and mentally. That's the only way you can control them. You can't control them any other way. You can't really tear him down, but you can tear down the perception of him. So when you tear down the perception of him and people look at him in a very negative light, then that in turn is going to make society and everybody else around him look at him negatively. And so they're able to then infiltrate those ideas now into the black community. If they kind of push him to the side, which is what's happening now, and erasing him, just don't show him. If we don't show him he no longer exists, then ultimately those ideologies start to seep into the black community, and ultimately the black community, as we've seen, will start to go down. Now, the main perpetrators of pushing this ideology in the black community is not only society itself, but it's feminism. Black feminists. Because black feminists are connected to the black community. Black feminists, their whole agenda is for them to be the leaders. They don't want to follow. And so in order for them to lead, in order for them to be the backbone of the black community, in order for them to be in charge, in order for them to take credits, they got to get rid of the strong, masculine black man. He has to get out of the way. They're not going to be able to lead the black community with strong, masculine black men in there. They're not going to let her do that. So what do? You start to emasculate him in every turn that you can. And when you continue to emasculate him and people start looking at strong masculine black men as being the enemy, we don't want to portray them in a positive light. Then a lot of times, especially when it comes to women and children, when you can start getting into their minds, then you can start to control what's happening in the black communities. And that's what's happening. What we're experiencing now, what we're seeing now, is to me just like modern day slavery, as far as that same mentality when it comes to the black community. And just like in slavery, where you had a couple of black folks, you know who they were, who was helping the slave master to you know, do what's necessary for them to warp, you know, these situations and to infiltrate into the black community. That's the same thing we got going on here. We still got black people that are working for society. They're working for them to try to tear down the black community, and for them not to see that that's what they're doing is to me just a little mind-boggling. Now I'm going to share with you just a couple of quotes that I got from various articles of people in the black community that's co-signing on this foolery, okay, and wanting the black community to believe that what we're seeing, as far as, yes, it's an emasculation of black men, don't care how you want to throw it and try to turn around, that what we're seeing is just definitely not true, and we really need to reframe our thinking. And this came from the website OK Player, and the quote is, their empathy bereft premise. They want him to be manlier. They need him to look stronger. They need him to disconnect from self to please him. We want to see strong black masculine men. That's it. We want there to be a balance. We don't want to always, when we look on you know, a media, when we look on a magazine, this is what you're trying to push on us in the black community. We don't want that. Some of us don't want that. We want to see strong masculine men represented, point blank, period. So this next quote is taken from an article written in The Root, and the black feminist actually wrote this, and she said, I worry about where we're headed if people still believe that unless a black man is in charge, taking the lead, making more money, or controlling and dominating men, he must be weak. We want our men to look manly. Yes, we want our men to be masculine, especially when you have women who are walking in their femininity. We don't want a man to be feminine. I don't want my man to be feminine. I want him to be masculine, point blank, period. And there's nothing wrong with that. So the whole point is, stop trying to make what I see as a man to be the wrong way to see one. Black men are supposed to be leaders. They're supposed to be in charge, point blank, period. I'm going to stop it right there. Just because a black man is a leader and in charge doesn't mean that he's controlling, and it doesn't mean that he's domineering. It means that he knows his direction. And because he knows his direction, he's able to direct his family, point blank, period. There's nothing controlling and domineering about that. A narrative that they're trying to push in the black community, trying to demonize strong masculine black men by trying to say that if you're strong, black, and masculine, and you're a man, then you have to be egotistical, you got to be domineering, you have to be controlling, you have to be arrogant, you got to be narcissistic. They don't want to put nothing positive on strong masculine black men. Why? Because if you make them negative, if you put everything negative and you demonize them, then that means when you start to erase them, people ain't even gonna care about it. Well, you need to erase these demons of men. Erase them. They need to be gone. So if you demonize them, you make sure that everything you say about them is negative. Then when you start to erase them, society is not going to say anything about it. They're going to let you erase them because they want them to be erased too. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is a title of an article that was written called "The Emasculation of the Black Man is Not a Real Thing." Again, trying to push a narrative, trying to push an agenda. Just because you say it's not real doesn't mean that it's not. There's a lot of people out there that think God ain't real. Just because somebody tells me God ain't real is not going to take away the fact that I know he is. Alright, so whatever you got to say about whatever your beliefs is just that, yours. Don't try to push your belief and push your perceptions on me just so that you can feel comfortable and just so you can feel okay with what you're doing. No, you need to stop it. We don't want society to blind us to the realities. We don't want them to continue to perpetuate a narrative that we know that is tearing up the foundations of the Black community. We can't let that continue to happen without speaking out on it every time we see it. And there's no amount of gaslighting, no amount of changing the narrative will ever be enough for some people in the Black community to say enough is enough. You need to stop it, and you need to stop it right now, because we definitely are not going to sit back and allow you to change the structure of the Black community just because of the hidden agenda you have within yourself. All right, you all, I am Michele Mazelleغ. That is my opinion. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.